20 years in the NFL, Super Bowl champ, 13-time Pro Bowler, going to be a Hall of Famer. Drew Brees joining us now live. Okay, so I got to ask you, it's a Thursday night game. And so I say, to me, it feels like the Jets have the older quarterback, short week at home. If you had to go on the road, Drew, on a short week, you're on a 3-hour flight, does it limit what you can install? Because they're clearly this year, the home teams are doing well on these short week games. What is the disadvantage on the short week for a quarterback, let's say?
Well, I mean, look, you're used to watching so many hours of film and having so many hours of preparation, and you've immediately eliminated 3 days, right? And so not only are you trying to get your body ready, which, look, the more veteran a player you are, the more that your routine throughout the week involves, just getting your body ready to play for Sunday. Now, all of a sudden, that's expedited into a Thursday game. It just makes it even more difficult. And so, man, I feel like you're just kind of multitasking like crazy. The advantage that the veteran quarterbacks have is that, look, they've seen and played a lot of football. They got a lot of experience. So it's not like they're going to be fooled a lot on game day, or game night. So they probably don't need as much from the perspective of, hey, new wrinkles in the game plan or, tons and tons of time to analyze the defense, especially if they have a knowledge of who that defense is, who the defensive coordinator is, what the scheme is. A lot of times it just creates a picture in your head as to, okay, here's who we're facing. Here's how I think they're going to defend us. And just let me have some answers. Let me have some tools in my toolbox. They're going to help us attack this. But I definitely think you do simplify things, mainly just for the sake of the rest of your offense.
So I am tougher on quarterbacks today than 10 years ago because quarterbacks today have 10,000 snaps by the time they're 15 years old, and you didn't. You had a 10-game high school season. You didn't get all the 7-on-7, the personalized coaching. So it used to be I would give a Drew Brees or an Eli Manning, just give me 3 years. I'll know if I have my guy. My rule now is by your second Thanksgiving, with all the camps you've gone through, I got to see something. I got to see something. So people are banging on the Colts, but my takeaway is they've actually got a great offensive coach, a lot of pieces, good receivers, good back, top 6 offensive line, and it is getting worse. So I kind of get it. I don't think 10 years ago I would be as punitive. I wouldn't be as harsh. But I kind of feel like you didn't have the advantages of Jaden Daniels. You didn't get all the camps. Am I being overly harsh?
No, here's my thought on that situation, and specific to Anthony Richardson is, I mean, how many starts did the guy have in college?
13,
15,
yeah.
Right? I mean, so like let's go back and look at some recent history. Trey Lance, how many college starts? It was about the same. Mitch Trubisky, how many college starts? It was about the same. So guess what? It's going to take longer. And so if you draft a guy like that high, you need to temper your expectations. You need to say, look, we're either going to sit him behind a really solid veteran, like get him in a great room with a great kind of environment, and we're going to bring him along slowly. Or if you do choose to start him, expect that it's going to take a while. Expect that there's going to be a lot of growing pains. And that's just the nature of the beast. Like on the flip side, look at Brock Purdy. Last pick in the draft, but guess what? The guy had 46 starts in college. And then he sat for a period of time. And he was third string going into the season. Trey Lance gets hurt. Garoppolo gets hurt. Then he gets his opportunity, but he's in a great scheme with a great coach with great players around him. So, look, there is a bit of a formula. I've always felt like it's 50 starts. You need 50 high-level starts before I know exactly what we've got. And that could be high level, could be college, but also a combination of that and the pros. And it could be a combination of just sitting in the pros, right? Patrick Mahomes had a bunch of college starts, but sat for a year behind Alex Smith with a really good head coach and a really good system, really functional environment, right? So all these things are factors in this. And so to say that you know what you have in Anthony Richardson, and you don't. He's going to need a lot more time than he would have had he stayed in college for another year, or if he had 35 or 40 starts under his belt already as opposed to 13.
Okay, Hail Marys. Did you practice them, or is it all luck watching the Commanders?
No. Look, there's absolutely a technique to throwing a good Hail Mary. Number one, where you try to land that thing, I always try to land it right in the middle of the end zone. Now, sometimes if you're pushed back and you just can't make it that far, you're at least trying to get it to the goal line where maybe if it gets tipped up even in front, you're close enough to where somebody can dive in. But if you can get everyone at least positioned down there, you do have rules in place, right?
Yeah.
Like we would always have a middle jumper, and then we would try to surround that jumper with bodies that could catch the tip ball, right? Which, look, I think the Commanders executed this extremely well. And look, the receiver, credit him for the discipline of knowing, look, I'm not going to go for the jump. I'm going to sit back where I'm supposed to be behind the pile, and I'm going to be ready for the tip pass, right? And he capitalized on that. Defensively, it's always one of those things where, man, you can't have every defender going up and jumping either.
That's right.
Like, those guys have to have some level of discipline that they are going to take the same approach as the offensive team, which is some of you aren't going to jump. You need to sit back and be ready for a tip pass that you can knock down, right? But it turns into a bit of a free-for-all. Like, it's like an ant used to play in the backyard. Well, I think my kids call it like 3 flags up or something like that. You just throw the ball up and see who can go get it.
Finally, 2 minutes left. Joe Flacco's playing. Are you going to watch that game and think, I miss the juice, I miss the action when you watch Joe Flacco? Come on, be honest.
Well, this is what I love about Flacco's story. Look at his journey over the last few years, right? He's bounced around from team to team. Look what he did with the Browns last year. It just goes to show you that you can't put a price on experience. Like, you can take Flacco, and there's probably a couple other veteran QBs like him right now, where you could bring him into a system where he's got, no prior knowledge to that system, but he's able to, just based on his, wealth of experience and wisdom and the amount of reps that he's had, like, he could go into a situation and very quickly, we talked a little bit about it last week, like when you have a veteran receiver come in, like, he's played enough ball that you can just put him in and he's going to figure it out. Like, he's going to know the concepts that he likes. He's going to know the timing. He's going to know, generally speaking, like, okay, this concept, my eyes are going to start here. I'm working back here. I know where my outlet is. I know what can't happen on this play. Like, I'm going to avoid the sack. I'm going to avoid the negative play, know where to throw the ball away, get myself into a third manageable. Like, there's just going to be a level of decision-making and processing that's just going to be different based on his level of experience. So, like, those guys are invaluable.
Yeah.
And they're invaluable. You need a guy like that to come in and win you a couple games in a season while you're trying to, get through a period of time with an injury to your starter, or if you just got a young guy who needs to learn. Like, I think that's probably a great guy to observe.
Yeah, I actually think they have some good players. I think the Colts could go on a little streak here with Joe Flacco. Drew Brees, 13 Pro Bowls. Always love having you by, my man. Always make us smarter. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.